Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick Cooling, and today I'm diving into the film Pathology. Now, I have never heard of this movie in my life. It came out in 2008. It just kind of bypassed me, I guess. But this was requested to do a review on, so I checked it out and well, let's dive into this. So, Pathology from 2008 is a crime thriller starring Alyssa Milano, Keir O'Donnell, and Milo Ventimiglia. I'm not sure how to say the last name there, but all I know is the girls love this guy. Like, I mentioned this movie in Killer Flicks, and literally all the comments were all just chicks going Milo with heart signs, and that they seem to be in love with this guy. I guess he's in Heroes and This Is Us, those shows, so that's where they know him from. I've never heard of him before, but I definitely get to know him watching this film. And it was directed by Marc Scholermann. This seems to be his only movie ever directed, which I find funny because I really enjoyed this film. I'll just put that out there. This is a real surprise, especially since I'd never heard of it before. I didn't really know any of the actors. And yeah, this is just great stuff. So the basic plot of this film is about Dr. Ted Gray joining this new this new job at a morgue, essentially, with these other pathologists. They determine how the person died. That's what a pathologist is. So the main character, Dr. Ted Gray, he has to leave his fiance where they live and move to this new city so he can start this new program at this morgue. And he's a very smart guy. Like he has these big university courses like in Harvard and shit. So he knows his stuff. He seems like a pretty straight-laced dude, and he shows up, and all these other pathologists are all seem bonkers and crazy, like really out there. So essentially, the leader of the crew who's working here, Dr. Jake Gallo, he's like the head one of their friends. I guess that kind of dives into, you know, how you can get too smart and you kind of cross that line of insanity. Well, that seems to be happening a lot with these characters in this film. So after the new guy meets all the other doctors, and they kind of let him join their crew, like be a part of the gang, and everything seems to be going fine, even though they're very weird. But then they show him an abandoned part of the morgue in like the basement. There's this abandoned ward, and that's where the movie starts to pick up. They explain that they want to play a game with him because they play this game all the time, where they go out, kill somebody, bring in the body down into the basement where no one knows about, and the rest of them have to guess how they killed the person. So they all start killing people in unique ways and bring them back, and the rest of them have to guess how they did it. And it's a game they invent. So they bring in this new doctor and kind of force him into playing these games with them with blackmail and stuff. And the movie just kind of keeps upping the ante as it goes. We soon learn that they're all addicted to what I believe to be crack, like a long straight pipe that they're smoking out of. So they smoke crack, and while they're trying to figure out how their friends killed these people, all at the same time, you got kinky sex thrown in with like people putting like little pins in their head and shit while they're going at it beside the body, and it's some very weird, creepy stuff starts happening in this film as it starts. So that's your basic plot, and as the movie goes on, they get closer at getting caught by other people and different things of that nature. So that's what you're getting yourselves into. It's definitely not a film for everybody. That'll be my first thing I'll mention is if you're not into horror or anything like that, this movie might turn you off quite a bit because it's filled with really weird, like, kinky sex scenes. We got some body horror here, a lot of bodies being ripped open and stuff. Not for everybody, not for the faint of heart. Even a few times, like when they're cracking bones with like the big, like, I don't know what you'd call it. They use to crack the bones, like the rib cages. You can hear it. I was listening to this with headphones, and man, it was like oof. It almost sounded just like someone cracking your ribs. And I mean, like the first thing you see when the movie starts is the people working at the morgue, like pretending that the bodies are like puppets, so like moving their mouths and that, and you're like, right off the bat, they show you that this movie is pretty messed up. Yeah, and the bodies that they have to look at the hospital, like they specialize in like more forensic stuff, like murders or like something that's attached to a crime. So they figured out the death, uh, pretty much for the court system, and that to determine how the person died, whether they were an attacker or someone who got attacked. So That's how we get a lot of messed up autopsies in this film. And the effects are on point. Like, we don't get any CGI or anything like that. It's mostly all practical. And like I said, the bones cracking, the if you don't like people getting cut open in that, this movie probably isn't for you. Even though they don't go into like torture porn territory, they do keep it civil enough. So if you're kind of squeamish with stuff like that, this movie may not be for you. Now, getting into one of my favorite things about this film is the characters. You got your head guy, who's the really smart guy who moved to this place to get the job. He's more a straight lace, very smart. He knows his stuff. Since he's more of a serious guy, and it's really nice to mix him with all these other more upbeat characters. Like all the messed up people at the morgue that were working there before, they're all pretty much insane. They have really quirky personalities, and it just gives the film like a whole nother level. We're not with these boring characters. They're all entertaining in their own ways. Especially the head guy who brings them all in, Dr. Jake Gallo. He is my personal favorite in this movie. The head bad guy in this film. It's just his charisma. Everything just comes off so upbeat and colorful. Especially when we're dealing with this subject matter about like killing people and trying to do autopsies on them to figure out how they died. It just makes for a more entertaining watch. And the way things play out in this film, they really up the stakes at the last act. There's a few twists come back to back. Obviously, we get a couple situations that stand in between our main characters and with what they're doing too. And because it's very immoral what they're doing, and they're blackmailing each other and stuff like that. So they're really in a tough situation, and I just liked how everything wrapped up. We get a few endings, but each, like, you think it's going to end and then there's a little twist. I like it when they do that and can pull it off, and I was completely satisfied with the end of this film. This film is immoral, it's creepy, it's dirty, it's filled with kinky sex scenes. So it's not for your average moviegoer, like I said, but for me as a horror fan, this was quite the treat, especially for a film I have never heard before. So this is awesome. I definitely want to add it to my collection. I see it's on DVD for fairly cheap on Amazon. Because for me, this had great directing. The cinematography was on point. The acting from all characters were solid. They really elevated the movie, made it way more entertaining. It just really enhanced my experience in this oddball film, which could have really went another way and just been completely trash, but it just happened to work. And I think that was everybody on board did an excellent performance, whether we're talking about the directors or the actors. Everybody, I was honestly sucked in from start to finish of this film. I was entertained the whole way through, and I am very glad that I got to check this out. So now for my rating, I would give this film a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's great. Definitely check it out if you're into these crime thriller type movies. Just expect it to be a little weird and creepy, just due to the characters in this film. But to me, that made the movie even better. So guys, let me know what you guys think of Pathology from 2008. Have you seen it? If not, I'm telling you, go check it out. Unless you're a little squeamish, but you could always look away at the scenes where they're like ripping people open and stuff. That's fine. It doesn't sink to like Saw 7 gore, but it is still there. And like I said, just the cracking of the bones was enough to make me give me a little chill there. I was like, damn, that sounded real. So I'd highly recommend this film, and you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching.